And Nigeria's equities market extended gains on Thursday, led by gains in the banking sector. Omotola Abimbola, macroeconomic strategist at Afrinvest, joins me to review markets this week. Omotola, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you.
Same here.
Good day for the market yesterday, and I suppose for the week so far. We're looking at the year-to-date continuously climbing further into positive territory. And we had the key data out on inflation, 16.2% from 17.2%, not far from the forecast that we got from analysts, I suppose, including Afrinvest also. What was your forecast?
I'm correct. Our forecast was 16%, and with the inflation rate reading 16.3%, it shows an 100 basis points drop, compared to the previous months. But then, despite that decline, the interesting thing is that inflation rate is still not dropping as fast as analysts, had earlier expected. And that's mainly due to the accelerating food prices we are seeing, across the country, particularly in the southwest, the south-south, and the north-central part of the country. For the past 3 or so months now, we've been seeing pressure on food prices, partly driven by seasonality. Nigeria's planting season usually runs from February, till around June before we start seeing harvest in October. So that seasonality effect is having, an impact on general, food prices in the country. But additionally, another reason why we might be seeing this accelerating, food prices could be because of the, sharp appreciation of the naira in the parallel markets. Most of Nigeria's neighboring countries, from Chad, Niger, down to Benin Republic, they all are net importers of grains from Nigeria. So with the fast, appreciating naira in the parallel market, that has driven up their demand for Nigerian grains. And we've been seeing lots of exports, going from northern part of the country to many of these countries. So that's also contributing to the pressure we are seeing on food prices.
Okay, so on the part of it being seasonal, that is not exactly a worry. That will pass. I mean, if it's seasonal, it'll come and it'll go. So that's not a worry. So how big a worry is this other trend, this other part of the story? Exports going to neighboring countries, and of course that sharp increase of the naira in the parallel market.
It is quite threatening because at this rate, if we continue to see food prices, staying pressured, we might probably see inflation rates, going back up year on year by next month, because we had a very high base in May 2016 due to the increase in petroleum products. But from June down to August, we had more or less stable prices, in 2016.
So the base effects are waning.
It's going to start waning out from next month. So if we do not see a moderation in food prices, that may start having an impact on the headline inflation numbers. And I'm sure the APC will be considering it in their consideration,
So I'm thinking if nothing is being done, to curb this trend, then obviously it's going to continue. And so obviously we should expect a response from the Monetary Policy Committee next month. How do you think they would respond to this?
The interesting thing is that monetary policy could do very little in trying to, control food prices, particularly if it's being driven by seasonality. The best they could do is probably, to look at what's happening to the core index, which has been more or less, positive since the beginning of the year, particularly February. We've been seeing, core inflation year on year dropping persistently. So the CBN will take some positives from that. And a circular came out yesterday from the, CBN spokesperson, where they highlighted that they are planning to, start mopping up
200 billion
homo bills at lower rates, 16%. So that would be almost a 200 basis point drop from the level of, homo clearing rates that we had before.
But would that help? Because we know that it's also part of efforts to rein in inflation. There's, I think, over 200 billion is going to mature this week, or perhaps this week. So obviously they need to counter that inflow. But how does that help inflation?
It's not going to help inflation for sure. In fact, it's going to add additional pressure, in the FX market. By the time we start seeing, lower level of interest in the lower level of fixed income yields in the market, we may start seeing more or less tactical, reallocation back to equities and back to FX, for asset managers. And foreign investors also looking at Nigerian assets may be more or less, less encouraged to bring their foreign capital into the country.
Okay, Omotola, sorry, but just finally, so if this trend continues, are you going to review your forecast for inflation for the month of June?
definitely we're going to review it, probably upward slightly if we continue to see pressure in food prices.
So
we are
could go
watching
back
that
to
closely.
the 17% that we came from.
Maybe it's going to go back up slightly if you see the pressure, continuing. But by the time we get to the harvest season by October, we start seeing moderation as well.
Okay, I think I have one more minute to squeeze in. Outlook for the markets next week.
It's going to stay bullish. Earnings are positive. Valuation multiples are still below mid-cycle level. And particularly, CBN is now using monetary policy. We start seeing, more interest in equities.
Okay, Omotola, thank you so much for talking to us today. It's been a pleasure having you.
My pleasure.
I've been speaking to Omotola Abimbola, macroeconomic strategist at Afrinvest.